Good morning and welcome to Southern Cross University's Open Day. Thanks for joining us for the panel for Indigenous Knowledge. My name's Claudia. I'm part of the Future Students team here at Southern Cross University and will be your host today. But before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the lands of the Bundjalung people today and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We're here today to share insights about studying at Southern Cross. It's a 25-minute panel and we'll be spending the last 5 to 10 minutes answering any questions. So today I am joined by Rachel Linwood. Hi, Rachel. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your connection with Southern Cross?
Hi everyone, and I'm here at Guinea College at Southern Cross University. My role is one of many as is course coordinator for the Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge. I also do a lot of work with our elders in community engagement and am also chair of our college faculty board and teach in our undergraduate course as well. So I wear a few hats and that's pretty much part of what I do. I'm also a Bundjalung woman, so I have very strong kinship ties to this part of the world as well.
Fantastic. And can I start by asking, what do we mean by Indigenous knowledge?
So when we're talking about Indigenous knowledge, we're talking about a number of things. The discipline of Indigenous knowledge has its own flavour. So it's very much based on Indigenous ways of being, knowing and doing in the world. It's very much based on how we get to appreciate and to understand more so what it is when we're talking about, say, as one example, if we were to talk about how we approach teaching, how we approach our pedagogy as Indigenous ways of doing things, then Indigenous knowledge is underpinned by the fact that when we're talking about teaching from an Indigenous space, it's not only about what we understand intellectually, but it's also about how we understand things culturally. It's about how we understand things philosophically, how we understand things from a deeper place within ourselves. So Indigenous knowledge really encourages people to get to know Indigenous ways of learning, being, doing, and so forth. So it's not how it once would have been, where we would say Indigenous studies and you talk about studying Indigenous people per se, but it's more engaging with the pedagogy, engaging with the philosophy, engaging with all those with the epistemology, which is about coming from an Indigenous standpoint. So when you look at our units, say Indigenous health, or if you look at our units in relation to, caring for country, that gives you more of a detailed appreciation of what Indigenous knowledge actually represents. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Fantastic. And the university has important relationships with Indigenous elders and communities, both in our campus regions and around the world. How do these relationships guide the development of the courses in Indigenous knowledge?
Everything that we do at Guinea College of Indigenous Australian Peoples is always underpinned, and it's very directly informed by our relationships with our elders. And I was just mentioning to some colleagues before, and as I often do, that a lot of what we do and pretty much everything that we do at Guinea is informed by those relationships. So we have a number of elders who we've had strong relationships with for many years, and we still do. We have our elders council or elders group, and so we engage very strongly in those relationships as an ongoing thing. So we have one of our senior elders, Uncle Herb Roberts. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning this because he asked me to come and do the acknowledgement of country today. He's our elder in residence, so he has a lot of direct contact with staff and students, and him along with several other elders come and participate, and they actually co-teach. So they co-facilitate in some of our units, the Caring for Country one particularly, and some of the other ones that are focused on working with Indigenous communities and how we go about that, how we approach that, and what that's like from an experiential point of view. So our elders have a very important and key part of the core business of everything that Ginnibi College does and represents in this university community and beyond. And a lot of our elders, of course, they all have their very strong trajectories as professionals themselves who have worked many years in various industries, very strong in community, have the relationships. So it's a very, our relationships with our elders is very key in what we do. Yeah.
And what courses are offered at Ginnibi?
So we have the Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge, that's our undergraduate course. And we also have our Doctor of Indigenous Philosophies, which is a postgraduate course, but there is a coursework component, but there's also the very strong thesis component as well for those wishing to do postgraduate studies, higher degree studies.
And what are the career opportunities for graduates of Indigenous knowledge?
Well, pretty much anyone that does a degree in this area in Indigenous knowledge, it preps you to be able to work in an engaged fashion much more competently in any areas pertaining to Indigenous peoples and communities. So that can be working in government, it can be working in community-based organisations, it can be working in all kinds of capacities, because as you know, you can have in many of our departments in Australia, our government-based departments, there is an Indigenous portfolio. So you have portfolios that are directly to address working with Indigenous communities and Indigenous issues and those sorts of things. So you could find yourself working in one of the, in any sort of government department. You could find yourself working in Indigenous health in some capacity, as a counsellor, as working in social welfare, all these different areas. And I always say to our students that are doing our health unit, because a lot of them are occupational therapy students, that as occupational therapists, they will be working with a lot of Indigenous clientele, because Indigenous health is still a key issue and a key focus in a number of the issues facing Indigenous peoples and communities across the country. So it does equip students to work in a number of different areas. And that could be the areas I've mentioned, everything from social welfare to health in various contexts, to government, to other community-based work.
So it's really broad, the graduate outcomes. And what impact do you hope to have on the community with these courses?
Well, the purpose and the aim of these courses is to support students, whether Indigenous or non-Indigenous, it doesn't matter. Pretty much the courses are there for any student that has an interest to work with Indigenous peoples and communities in some capacity. And that's what draws people there to it, because they may have done, say, at a unit, or they may have done some volunteer work somewhere, or they may have a history of already having done work in Indigenous communities but want to come back and do a further qualification to further support them to continue that work. So our hope with this, or our approach with this, is to offer a course that supports it, and we are doing that, to support anyone that's interested in working with Indigenous peoples and communities, because then that has a far-reaching impact in a lot of different areas. And that's why this is such an important course, because it doesn't just focus only on, say, health. It doesn't focus only on social welfare or only on community, engagement and so forth, or law or any of that. It focuses on it has a very broad focus on all these areas. So you could go in and work in a number of different contexts and be very effective. And we see that our units and the way the course structure is equip students very well to do that. So the idea is to that this degree offers students also that capacity to build those collaborative relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in various professional and community contexts. Because if we're going to talk about reconciliation, then we see that we have a degree that actually supports that and supports the philosophy behind what reconciliation is about.
And you did mention before that you can study Indigenous knowledge in combination with other degrees. Could you give a little bit more detail around that?
Okay, so we do have, and I'll probably need to double check just off the top of my head, but we do have, say, occupational therapy students, as far as I'm aware, and other students in various degrees, but I'd need to double check the details of that, who can take Indigenous majors. So they can take an Indigenous major alongside their respective discipline of what they're already doing. So we do have that, and we've always had those sorts of offerings within, arts and that sort of thing as well. But I would have to double check so that I've got the details accurate there.
Mm. And do you have to be Indigenous to enrol in the Indigenous knowledge course?
Nope. It's for anyone. Anyone that has an interest. It's not specific for only Indigenous people. And this is something we need to just add further sharp clarification to, because there can be a perception that a Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge is only for Indigenous people to come in and study that, and that's not actually how it is. The Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge is like any other undergraduate course here at Southern Cross. It's open to all students who wish to apply and come in and engage and undertake that undergraduate course. So it's for everyone that has an interest. And just in relation to the previous question, if there are those, watching this recording later on who do have an interest and they want to know more of the details of what they can and can't do and what other courses the Indigenous Knowledge course is in concurrency with in terms of offerings, you can always contact us at Gunabee and we can answer those questions.
And what advice would you give to anyone considering studying Indigenous knowledge?
I would say that if you have a very true and a very strong pull to work with Indigenous peoples and to work in areas that deal with Indigenous communities, I would very strongly encourage you to follow that and to go with what is true for you, what you would really love to do. And so if you do want to study in this area, we always welcome it and we encourage it. And don't ever think that you can't offer something or that you can't engage with it because you happen to be non-Indigenous. That none of that matters. This is what a course like this is about, to build those collaborations, to build those relationships, as well as give you a qualification that further supports you in your passion in terms of what your career path might be. So don't hold back. If you really want to go there and do it, do it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your insights, Rachel. And thank you to everyone for attending the panel today. So I would just like to encourage everyone to, if you haven't already signed up for a campus tour, we have campus tours running every 20 minutes from the plaza. There are various other panels running throughout the day as well. If anyone has any questions, you can also ask the information desk in the plaza, and our Future Students team will be able to assist you with applications or anything else. And you also have our client services team who are here in the room or also down at the hub as well. So thank you.